Have you ever pondered how grave sex crimes against juveniles can be and the extent to which they can shatter lives? It's a sobering thought, isn't it? The severity of these crimes, the deep-seated trauma they inflict, and the lifelong effects they leave on their young victims are truly horrifying. The ripple effects of these heinous acts play out not just in the lives of the children affected, but also in the fabric of our communities, societies, and indeed, our world. In the midst of this unsettling reality, we find ourselves drawn to a particular case, that of a man named Glenn Sullivan Sr. Now, we won't delve into the specifics just yet, but we will tell you this. It is a case that starkly highlights the monstrous nature of such crimes and the devastating aftermath they leave in their wake. Today, we delve into a case that provides a chilling reminder of the gravity of such crimes. It all started in July 2022 in the quiet town of Springfield, Louisiana. This is where our story begins. Glenn Sullivan Sr., a 54-year-old man, had woven a sinister web of manipulation and intimidation around a 14-year-old girl. The victim, whose identity we'll keep hidden for her protection, was subjected to repeated sexual assaults by Sullivan. These abuses didn't occur in isolation. They were part of a calculated and cruel strategy. Sullivan had groomed the young girl, using his age and authority to manipulate her trust and innocence. This grooming process is a disturbing yet common tactic used by sexual predators, gradually eroding the victim's sense of normality and safety until they feel utterly trapped. But the manipulation didn't stop there. Sullivan also employed threats of violence against the young girl and her family, creating an environment of fear and coercion that further silenced her. These threats served a dual purpose. They not only prevented her from coming forward, but also reinforced the control and dominance Sullivan had over her. It was within this climate of fear and manipulation that the multiple rapes occurred. Each instance was a flagrant violation of this young girl's rights and dignity, a stark reminder of the power Sullivan wielded over her. The Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office would eventually open an investigation into these allegations, kickstarting a journey towards justice. The road was not easy. It required the victim to relive her traumatic experiences, to face the man who had caused her so much pain, and to stand against the threats that had once kept her silent. Yet despite the difficulties, she found the courage to speak up, to tell her story, and to fight for justice. This act of bravery served as a beacon of hope, not just for her, but for all victims of sexual abuse. The young teen's life was forever altered, resulting in a pregnancy that would provide undeniable proof of Sullivan's heinous acts. This was the brutal reality she faced, a constant reminder of the horrors she had endured. But with this evidence, the path to justice was now clear, and the fight for it was only just beginning. The investigation took a significant turn when a DNA test was ordered. This wasn't just any test. It was a test that would either cement Sullivan's guilt or absolve him completely. The results were damning. The DNA test confirmed Sullivan's paternity, leaving no room for doubt or denial. DNA evidence is often the linchpin in sexual assault cases, especially when minors are involved. It is an irrefutable voice for the victims, speaking volumes in the face of silence, fear, or coercion. It provides a solid scientific base that can withstand the scrutiny of the courts and the defense's attempts to create doubt. In this case, the DNA test served as a beacon of truth, shining a spotlight on the dark and disturbing reality of Sullivan's crimes. It stripped away the layers of manipulation and threats that Sullivan had used to keep his victims silent, laying bare the horrifying truth for all to see. The DNA test was more than just a scientific procedure. It was a tool of justice, a means to validate the young girl's ordeal and hold Sullivan accountable for his actions. It was a tangible proof of his guilt, a clear and unambiguous declaration that he was indeed the perpetrator of these heinous crimes. While it's important to remember that DNA evidence alone is not always conclusive, in this instance it was pivotal. It corroborated the victim's account, giving her allegations the weight they deserved. It was a crucial piece of the puzzle, providing a clear picture of Sullivan's guilt. In the face of such compelling evidence, denial became impossible, and the path towards justice became clear. This DNA test was the key to unlocking the truth behind the traumatic events the young girl had endured. On April 22nd, Judge William Dykes handed down a sentence that sent shock waves through the courtroom. The Louisiana courtroom was filled with a palpable tension as the sentence was declared. Glenn Sullivan Sr., a 54-year-old man from Springfield, Louisiana, was sentenced to 50 years in prison for 4 counts of second-degree rape. If the 50-year prison sentence was a hammer blow, the additional punishment was a lightning strike. As part of Sullivan's plea agreement, Judge Dykes mandated him to be physically castrated. Yes, you heard it right. Physical castration. An extreme measure, some might say, but one that was deemed necessary in this particular case. Assistant District Attorney Brad Cascio, who prosecuted the case, made a striking statement. "I've had 3 people ordered to be chemically castrated, but to my knowledge, this is the first physical castration to be ordered," he shared. A first of its kind, the order marked a significant moment in the legal landscape. Cascio went on to explain the gravity of the situation. "I felt that this case was a strong enough case and warranted such action," he said in the statement. "This wasn't a decision taken lightly, it was a direct response to the severe nature of the crime committed." Adding even more weight to his statement, Cascio expressed his determination to seek justice for the victims of such heinous acts. He said, "Sex crimes against juveniles are the most malicious crimes we prosecute. I intend on using every tool the legislature is willing to give us, including physical castration, to seek justice for the children in our community." It was a bold statement, one that sent a clear message to anyone who dares to harm the innocent. It emphasized the lengths the justice system is prepared to go to protect the most vulnerable among us. Remember, this was not a decision imposed on Sullivan. He chose physical castration over chemical, a choice that, no doubt, will echo in the annals of criminal justice for years to come. This unusual punishment marked a unique moment in the fight for justice for victims of sex crimes. It's a moment that will, undoubtedly, spark debates and discussions. But for now, it serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of such horrifying actions. The sentencing of Sullivan was not just about him, it was a statement for all victims of such crimes. In the aftermath of such a chilling case, the district attorney, Scott Perilloux, lauded the bravery of the young victim who dared to step forward and confront her tormentor. He acknowledged the immense strength it took for her to recount the harrowing experiences she endured at the hands of Sullivan and to face the man who had caused her so much pain. Perilloux commended her courage, a beacon of hope for other victims who may be living in fear, silenced by threats and intimidation. The case also underscores the commitment of the prosecution to relentlessly pursue justice for victims of such heinous acts. Assistant District Attorney Brad Cascio, who prosecuted the case, reflected on the gravity of the crime and the importance of using every tool at their disposal, including physical castration, to seek justice. He highlighted that sex crimes against juveniles are among the most malicious crimes they prosecute, and they will not hesitate to employ extreme measures to ensure the perpetrators face the full force of the law. But it's not just about punitive measures. It's about prevention and protection. It's about creating a society where everyone, especially the most vulnerable, can feel safe. It's about making sure that potential perpetrators understand the severe consequences of their actions, thus deterring such horrendous crimes. It's about making sure that victims know that their voices matter, that they are not alone, and that justice can and will be served. Above all, it's about sending a clear message. These crimes will not be tolerated, and the guilty will face the harshest of punishments. It's about standing up for victims, advocating for their rights, and ensuring they get the justice they deserve. It's about making sure that no victim is left unheard, no crime goes unpunished, and no stone is left unturned in the pursuit of justice. The case of Glenn Sullivan Sr. serves as a stark reminder of the severity of sex crimes against juveniles and the lengths to which the justice system will go to punish the guilty. As we conclude, let's reflect on the gravity of the crime and the unusual punishment. We've delved deep into the disturbing case of Glenn Sullivan Sr., a man who committed heinous acts against a young girl, resulting in a sentence of 50 years in prison and physical castration, an unprecedented punishment in such cases. The strength of the victim, who bravely came forward to report the crime, played a crucial role in bringing Sullivan to justice. The case illustrates the severity of sex crimes against juveniles and the commitment of the justice system to use every tool at its disposal to seek justice for victims. It's a stark reminder of the importance of reporting such crimes. Silence only aids the perpetrators and hinders the path to justice. This case serves as a chilling reminder that every voice matters in the fight against sex crimes. Everyone has a role to play in exposing these atrocities and ensuring that justice is served. Remember, every voice matters in the fight against sex crimes. Don't be silent, be a part of the solution.